Well, hi, tubers. Well, I got a request from Jeff that was here yesterday from Wichita, and he wanted me to video this landing gear fairing that I've been up yesterday and been trimming and drilling and whatever on there today and making this little bracket here. I've got it drilled for the nut plates to go on there, and then this will go right there to hold the fairing on. So let me get to countersinking these two holes and drilling out this hole to about 1/4 inch or so, because I'm using what they call floating nut plates on here, floating 632 nut plates, so it can move around and take up a little bit of the something that might be a little bit off. So let me stop this and I'll go do that. Okay, here's my 3/32 or number 40 countersink in a micro stop. So I will countersink those. So there's those two countersunk. And you say, well, you can't countersink that thin of aluminum. Well, this is 40 thousandths. And now, according to RV guys, the RV company says you can countersink on 32 thousandths. Air Force, we said 40. So anyway, so I countersunk those, and I'll use my rivet squeezer here and put in these rivets into that floating nut plate. Okay, all riveted on, and let's see if you can see that nut in there floats around. So now I do the other side. Well, there you go, the other side with a floating nut plate in there. Anyways, there was something I was going to say. Besides the fact that off camera there, I had forgot to drill that hole bigger so it'd have room for it to float around in. So, and I'd already put one rivet in, so I just twisted or rotated, I guess you'd say, the nut plate around so I could get in there and drill that hole out bigger, and then went ahead and drilled that one out bigger before I put the nut plate in there. So almost screwed up, but anyway, so there's that. Now all I got to do is screw this up into the airplane. I put some great big fender washers on the inside to give it more support, and a couple nuts, and that'll be on, and the fairing will be on. So here we go. Oh, and by the way, when I was down in Wichita seeing David in Wichita, we went to the place they call the Yard in Wichita, and that's where I got this rivet squeezer, which is not just a rivet squeezer, but you also put these different rivet sets in here for button head rivets, and also I've got dimpler to go in there for, well, that's the male part of the dimpler, and there's the female part of the dimpler that goes in there to dimple the skins. But you guys don't have to worry about that, because you won't be, except for David, he's gonna flush rivet his Ultra Cruiser, but I think he'll end up being mad at me for doing it. But anyways, also I used this, a friend at the airport, which I've got to get this back to him, let me borrow this to dimple the wing skins and the fuselage skins on on the H5, which I don't know if Jeff seen yesterday about doing that. I thought this had some in there. Anyway, so you can get further into the skin to dimple the skin when you're dimpling the skins for flush rivets. On the edges, of course, you can use this with the dimple dies in there to dimple the skins on that, and like on the bulkheads, you've got to dimple everything except for the wing spars. And when I put these skins on, I left like rivets out to, I don't know, probably back to here. Left the rivets out and had it all drilled once I had everything straight, and then drilled, and then of course left these rivets out up here too, so I could lift this skin up, both skins, and then get inside here onto this spar cap and countersink that. Then dimple all the skins, and it's quite a mess, and it's something that you really have to keep thinking about so that you remember to get your skins dimpled, or in this case the spar caps countersunk. Now when I did the turtle deck, of course I had these all drilled, and then when I had the turtle deck off, well then I dimpled all them. Of course had the turtle deck off and dimpled all the holes in the turtle deck. But I could only reach back about to here on the inside with, I'll have to show you that tool, to dimple the skins on the fuselage. Now, getting back in here, well, my nephew that I've talked about, he's got the Champ at East Kent City Airport. He got back inside there to insert this tool so I could dimple these skins and this skin for the dorsal. And, well, actually I put in a inspection plate there so that I could reach in there and get this back part by myself. But now I'll show you the tool I made I'll pause. Okay, here's the tool I made to dimple the skins. I don't know how well that's showing up, but this part here is the male, and then that part in there is the female. And so you take this apart, so you take that apart, take that off. There's the male part, and the female part's there. And so then you go inside the airplane and stick this up through the skin, through the hole, and then you put this back on that shaft. Well, shoot. Put it back on that shaft, and then you take your rivet gun like this, put it on there and squeeze it ever so slightly, because it don't take much to put the dimples in the skins. And then you take that out, take the male part off, and then Ryan would pull that out of the hole, and we go to the next one. So it takes a little bit, but I think it was worth it. I don't know about for David, but I think it looks so cool having the flush rivets. Of course, I put all solid rivets through here, and on the stabilizer I put solid rivets where I could. You couldn't do it out here because right underneath here has got what they call a hinge support. which the Ultra Cruisers have those too, and they have 2 on each wing for the ailerons hinges. But this here is a full length hinge on the H5, and they're full length hinges on the ailerons on the H5 also. And then there's also, I put solid rivets in there. So I like the solid rivets. They're a lot cheaper. So that's a long video. There you go, and God bless. And if you have any questions, please ask. And I know you guys do, and I'm sure happy to respond with an answer if I know it. So there you go. God bless.